Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live podcast, where I, Sunitha, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about all things North Fork. Happy Valentine's Day. I guess I'm embracing it. I found some red. It's usually not my holiday. I mean, it is, but Thanksgiving really is my holiday. That's a whole other story. But it's such a fun holiday because one, you celebrate love, and two, spring is coming. So I'm super excited about that. I think it's less than a month, obviously, to time change and 7 p.m. sunsets. So yay for that. Another thing that I'm celebrating that I'm super excited about that I know we had Greenport Harbor Pet in Greenport on a couple of weeks. And I don't know if you guys could tell, but I was pretty much inching close towards to getting a new fur baby in my life. And since then, I have been able to go to the Southold Animal Shelter. I think it's called the Welfare League. I'm not sure what they exactly called. But I found the cutest little baby to add to our family, and he is just incredible. He's a Shih Tzu mix rescue. I'm not sure what he is, but he came from Georgia. And we happened to visit him or greet him as the transport was coming from Georgia. And I just want to give a shout out to all the volunteers at the shelter, because just to even watch one transport with so many dogs come here, and then to see how each and every human being that volunteers at the shelter, they're in a new place. It was just, it warmed my heart to know that there are incredible people on this planet that are continuously giving and loving. And it was wonderful to watch. And I'm so happy that I found a new critter in my life.
Are you talking about charcoal?
I'm talking about charcoal, yes. I just realized that I never even brought him up. But I was saying that when Greenport Harbor Pet was on, and I think even before then, I could just tell for myself that I was getting more and more ready.
Yes.
And I think, and I'm just so grateful that pretty much on the first attempt of trying that that I found the perfect, he's driving me crazy already, 2 weeks of being here. Because he's like a little baby, like running around, and but it's so great. I know
so adorable. He's so adorable.
He is, and he's also like, even he's almost 2, they think, because they don't really have a lot of history on him. But he's definitely acting like a puppy. First of all, he's not house trained, so there's that. That's one of the reasons why he hasn't been in the office, because he's come up here a couple of times, and half the times he's left me a present in the office. So I'm like, okay, you're out of here. He's left it in every room, but now we're like, crate trading him and whatever. But I've said this many times before, that I had Pepper for about 14 years, and I would always say, even when he was alive, that he's been the one for me, because I've never had a pet. Like, I had Pepper, he showed up in my life. So I think it took me about 2 years to sort of get ready, and now I'm so glad that I took the pledge.
That makes sense. I feel the same way about Charlie. And also, to all the things that you're talking about, I remember when I had Charlie, I was a single woman living in Manhattan, and I was able to get up at 5 in the morning and sit with him for the entire hour until he peed on the wheelie pad and like train him. And when I think about getting a new pet at any point now with Tilly and all the other responsibilities that I have, I'm like, I don't have time to do that. And I want to be fair to that pet. So, there's a lot of things, not only mourning your first love and feeling like you could never replace them, but also just the responsibility that comes with it. I think that's
and I think a friend of ours said to me, Paul, his name is, it really sort of started the turning and changing of my mindset, is that, and I'm going to butcher what he said, but the idea is that we know when we walk into a pet's life that they're not going to be here for our whole life, but we are going to be there for their whole life, And that really got me thinking that, okay, here I am thinking selfishly that, yes, Pepper's here to rescue me, which really, who rescues who, right? But then this is another opportunity for me, to play my small part in Charcoal's life. Although I must say he's from Georgia, so he's probably been in sunny land. And then once he arrives here, it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
we actually brought him home the day of the polar plunge, like right after the plunge. We went
Right,
to the shelter.
I remember.
So
Yeah.
and then he's been out in the snow and he's 7 pounds. He's so tiny. So like we've been putting sweaters and his paws in the snow. So I'm thinking he must be thinking, where am I?
Have you
Like
gotten him the little boots?
we tried. It's not his thing.
Yeah,
But now
next
he doesn't
time.
care. Now he frolics in the
Yeah.
snow like there's no tomorrow. Hold on, I see our guest now. I wasn't sure what account they were using, but I see Tony on his account and not on the North Fork Arts Center account, but I'm just going to accept that. But now he's happy. I think it's taken him 2 weeks to figure out. Good morning, Tony. How
Good
are
morning.
you?
I'm so sorry I'm late.
Oh, no,
That's
it's
okay.
believe me, we could chat for a half hour among ourselves.
We have plenty to talk about all the time.
It gave me a chance to talk about my new puppy and my new love on this Valentine's Day, so it was perfect.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for
We're so happy to have you on.
Well, this is exciting, and I think this has become quite a thing you've created, this NOFO Live.
Well, we like to think so. We started NOFO Live really just to expand our own communities. We were, both what we would call transplants out here, even though we both have long histories of our families being out here. And we wanted ways to build our community. And we thought, if we created a platform where other people would be able to talk about how they love the North Fork, how they're bettering the North Fork, what they embrace about the North Fork, we would be able to, build our community and get to know others. And it's really become something quite special, more than we could have ever imagined.
Yeah, I can say that when we made the decision to be out here full time, that having something like this, exactly, why we sort of dove into the, making sure that the theater didn't sell and doing everything we did at NFAC was primarily to create that community. So I'm so glad you guys.
Okay. Well, let's jump right in. For those who don't know who you are, can you introduce who you are and then tell us what is your connection to the North Fork Community Theater?
So I was born in Astoria General Hospital. I'm kidding.
a poor black man. You can keep going.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the movie The Jerk. I'm glad you know it. That's so wonderful. But yeah, no. I'm a filmmaker. I mean, primarily now at this stage in my life, I've done all things in the film industry and also in theater. I actually started as an actor, but I also, before that, always considered myself a teacher. Everybody in my family was a teacher. So when I graduated college, I went and I taught at my old high school, which was Bryant High School in Queens. And then after acting for quite a while, I went into writing. I started screenwriting and then directing and then producing. And so that's what I've been doing for my whole life is very difficult, but if you make a living at it, I say, if we make a living doing what you love, then you're successful at it. But I've just been blessed to have such great friends along the way, and teaching was always part of my life. So as a filmmaker, one of the things that my partner 𝗚𝗚 and I dreamed about was having some sort of a presence on the North Fork, because we met here, and I've been coming here since I'm a baby, and so we started this thing called Manhattan Film Institute. And that was a really intensive training program for young filmmakers and old filmmakers of all ages. It was inclusive and intergenerational. I mean, we had a great relationship with Peconic Landing, and we did our classes at Breakneck Hall, and we always showed the films that we made at the Greenport movie theater, which is sort of how, that was Manhattan Film Institute. And then also because Terry and his mom at the Keefs at Silver Sands was where we housed like 70 people came from all over the world to take this film program. And
wow.
we lasted 11 years. And then when Terry and his mom lost the Silver Sands, it became this new, very wonderful place, but we lost the housing. We were sort of not going to continue MFI, or we were trying to think of how to continue it. And that's when Josh Sapan entered the picture and said, hey, guys, I'm going to sell the theater, and my heart tells me not to. And, he had really believed in this vision that we all had, which was that the movie theater could become more than just a movie theater. And we shared the vision of seeing it as an art center, right? So that it would do everything that a movie theater did, only it would give you the Brooklyn Ballet, or it would give you comedy night with Colin Quinn, or it would do things like that. And so in less than a year, we are going to host our second season of the Brooklyn Ballet in May.
Wow.
We are going to have, I don't know if you guys know who John Patrick Shanley is, but he is an Academy Award winning screenwriter. He's a Tony and Pulitzer Prize winning playwright.
Wow.
He wrote things like Moonstruck. You may remember that film.
Yes, of course.
or Doubt, which starred Amy and Meryl Streep. That she won the Pulitzer for as a play. Anyway, John is coming to Greenport with a new play, and we're going to do a staged reading of it at our theater, which blows my mind, right? Because why is John Patrick Shanley? He's going to have a play going to New York, but before he goes, he's going to come to Greenport and do a reading, which is like an opportunity for audiences. Before they go to New York and pay $300 for a ticket, they'll get to see a play with actors just right in front of them, staged reading, and then get to have a talk back with the author afterwards. So that's going to happen March 22nd is the play reading. Backing up one day, March 21st, we're going to show Moonstruck, and John Shanley's going to stay and do a talk back, and we're going to hand out cannolis from the bakery.
Oh my God.
I love that it's fully interactive.
Totally. Cannolis are as interactive as you can get.
Wait, I want to hop back a minute because I'm so excited about what's coming, but I can't continue this conversation without talking about the screening of Ezra and the talk with you. So let's go back a year and talk about what that experience was for you.
Very emotional. Very emotional. My family was all there. We had all three theaters playing the same movie at the same time. Bobby Cannavale and Tony Goldwyn and Rose Byrne, who are, you know, Tony's been my family for 40. Bobby and Rose I met because of Ezra, and they are the nicest, most generous people on the planet, as well as incredibly talented, all three of them. To have them sitting on that stage with me, talking about a film that took me only 11 years to write.
And it's so personal to you.
Exactly. That's about my raising of my sons, who are both on the spectrum and who were there to enjoy it with my mom and my aunts. And that was crazy. And we had 600 people, and my Lisa got the mayor, who is a friend of, you know, Kevin 𝗚𝗙𝗓𝗏 has been a friend of ours since we opened our doors. And with everyone's help, all of BID, everybody, we shut down the front of our street.
I mean, it was the event of Greenport. Everybody that I know was there, and it was just magical.
It was like so magical. So it was very emotional. And to bring, you know, that's kind of the point, isn't it? But who could have planned that it took me 11 years to make a movie? Right at the same time, a week earlier, we opened with the Brooklyn Ballet.
Yeah.
So literally just finished the work that made us safe upstairs in that theater, but then we added surround sound, a new screen, and so it was like, it was the timing that was mind-blowing. And so yeah, it was great. And then we followed with Ghostlight, which had won the, you know, had been at Sundance, and Josh Sapan, who owned the Greenport Theater before he bequeathed it to NFAC, he produced this beautiful movie, Ghostlight, and we had the directors flown from Chicago, and the head of the Sundance, literally the head of the Sundance Film Festival, part-time lives in South Island.
Wow.
So we had this incredible opportunity where the directors talked to us about that. And then I have a dear friend, Colin Quinn, who came out and did an evening as a fundraiser for us. So we started out with a bang. That was literally when we opened our doors. With
really sounds like a cultural arts center of the North Fork.
And
it's the perfect name. Yeah.
It's, you know, it's so much that, because one of the proudest things we have is the outreach programs for kids, right? That we are educating. We're committed, especially in the off season, you guys, as you know, when you live here, I like to say to people, it used to be, not anymore, shining a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to end that. We're going to end the shining.
Oh, it's end. It's over.
Ended.
It's over.
Yes.
The tumbleweeds are gone.
Yeah.
There's no tumbleweeds left.
That Tumbleweed Tuesday stuff. There is no tumbleweed. Yeah,
No.
true.
Okay. So let's talk about the theater itself, and let's also jump into the gala, because that is so exciting what you have coming up. March 2nd, is that the gala?
It's the March pre-Oscar cocktail party.
And we will both be there. We are very excited.
Yes, I made a note, like, from everybody, like, make sure you invite them. They're and Tracy.
Oh, we bought our tickets before we got an invitation. As soon as we saw it, we already bought our tickets, so we're gonna be there. I don't know if we'll be Oscar ready dressed.
Well, I don't know about you, Селина, but I don't get out of the house often, so I will be.
Well, you have to be, because Joel Ehrlich put a microphone in front of you, and then we're gonna have paparazzi, famous photographers.
Listen,
love it.
this is how I show up on Friday. So this is how
I'm made for this.
Okay, let's talk about it. So it's a pre-Oscar party.
Pre-Oscar cocktail party. So it's going to be basically a beautiful open bar. We're going to highlight local wines, as we always try to do. We're going to have music playing from famous Oscar-worthy songs that are going to be kind of pumped into the theater. We're going to have stations set up for very lavish hors d'oeuvres to be served, and waiter service. And it's just like a fun, come to the theater in your Oscar attire. Or we said Oscar attire with a North Fork twist.
Yeah, my linen dress is coming up.
Which means people are going to come in their shorts and their Dockers, and they're going to look like they're going to get on a boat, because it's, and
that's North Fork chic. I mean, and flip-flops. Don't forget flip-flops.
Yeah, I don't know. It's March 2nd, though, guys. I don't know.
Okay, no shorts.
Yeah. Sunday, March 2nd, which is the day that the Oscars play in the evening. But we're calling it a pre-Oscar party. We want everyone to come to the theater for 4 o'clock, right? And then at 4 o'clock, do this whole kind of Oscar buzzy kind of thing with food and a cocktail bar set up, and wine and food. And then, and we're going to take paparazzi photos there. So everybody's going to go home with some photograph. Or, I mean, not go home with, someone's going to kill me, but we're going to have it set up so that those. And then what we do is we move upstairs, and we have this brilliant auctioneer who's going to put on a show of a live auction, which is, just what blows my mind is what Joel and Phyllis Ehrlich are the co-chairs of this committee to get this done. And we didn't know how it was going to go, and it just gone off the charts. Like, the things that are being out to bid are things that are just Rod Stewart in Connecticut I think it's the Mohegan. I may be wrong about that. Phyllis can tell me, but it's really Tony Goldwyn and Joe Pantoliano are going to sit and have lunch at David Burke's restaurant with David Burke cooking for them. And whoever wins the auction gets to be at that table. And I'll be there too, to talk all the Hollywood war stories we have. And I can tell you, Joey Pants is, he's the guy. He won an Emmy for being on The Sopranos. He played Ralph. He was Guido the Pimp in Risky Business. And Tony Goldwyn is obviously one of my oldest and friends, who was the guy in Ghost, but then he became a brilliant director. He was President Fitz on Scandal. So that's going to be something that people get to have that.
Well, Phyllis is commenting.
Amazing chef David Burke cook for them. So that's going to be.
Phyllis is clarifying that Rod Stewart is 25th at, I guess, the Mohegan Sun. So just for people who are interested.
And that comes with a hotel for you the night, and we even take care of the tickets to get across on the North Sound Ferry.
That's awesome. That's
awesome. Experience. Those are the best kind of live auction items.
And then we also have tickets to the Islander game. You get to sit in the owner's box, which is just mind blowing. I think I have to do that one. And then we're going to have house seats, which we're selling names for name seats in the upstairs in the big beautiful theater that now has new screen, new sound. So and we've got a lot of those out of 295, we're already at 170.
Wow.
So just to give you, like, so if you want, you can, and you can go online at, you know, at North Fork Arts Center and see all of this. You know, you can, Monday, what's exciting about I almost called it the gala. It's the pre-Oscar party. What's exciting is that on Monday, the silent auction items will be on our website.
Okay, so you can bid on the items even if you're not at the event.
Absolutely, which is really awesome. And then on top of that, for the people, a lot of friends are in Florida, Carolinas, and they're going to get to actually have a telecast Zoom to them so they can actually bid from their beautiful hot weather home. If they can't be with us, they can be with us. And so, and let me just say a word about why this. There's 3 reasons. The first one is that there's a friend of mine who's at Peconic Landing, a guy named 𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗁, and we're honoring 𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗁. And 𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗁 has been a fixture out here. He's been, you know, part of environmental causes that in New Suffolk, and he's somebody that I met about 14 years ago. I was asked to teach at the Lifetime Learning Center at Peconic Landing, and I got to teach screenwriting to the seniors at Peconic Landing. And one of my students was 𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗁. And I found out when I was there, they were like, "Oh my God, 𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗁's taking your class." I was like, "Okay, that's great." And they were like, No, you don't understand. Joe wrote a book called Mad About Words, right? And Crazy About Words. And everyone loves this person. And then I found out why. He's just the most amazing, sweethearted person. And he cares about the North Fork like nobody's business. And when we decided to do North Fork Arts Center, the first person who showed up at my dining room table to meet with Lizzie Galuli, who's our operations person, and Shannon Goldman, who are his creative director, and myself and Lisa, was 𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗁. And he sat down and he said, "I am 1000% behind this, and I want to give," and he just has been he was the first person through the door to support us. So I thought, if we're going to do anything like this, we're going to support and honor Joe. The second reason is that we really want to put an elevator in our theater, and that's right. Our dream is to do a beautiful renovation, have a backstage area, so that stage that you see in front of the upstairs theater will actually be, there will be space behind it where there'll be dressing rooms. So if we want to do music and live music events and so forth, we'll have that. But most importantly, we'll have an elevator. So this beautiful get together. And the third reason is I love movies, and I really don't want people to forget what movies do when they're in theaters.
Yes.
They're a different experience. So I think celebrating the Oscars on our stage in our theater is a great way to remind people that there is nothing that substitutes going to a beautiful theater and sitting with people, some you know and you don't know. Some are the same as you, some are different than you, and you all are crying at the same place, or you're all laughing at the same. That's the magic of movies.
Well, and
That's
also,
what.
at the theater, you don't have any distractions, right? When you're watching a movie at home, your phone's going off, your kids are talking, you know, people are not paying attention, and when you go to a movie, it's truly, you are present, which there's so few things in our lives these days where you can be fully present anymore.
So that was my elevator pitch. Get it?
I love it. I also love the tagline. Obviously, all of you are creative. I love that it was lights, camera, access. I mean, that is so perfect because, yes, there's a lot of fun going on and paparazzi and dressing up, but there is an actual cause, and you're trying to preserve this theater and offer creative arts to everybody, right? Now, after all the fun and eating and drinking, there is also, we can watch the Oscars there, correct?
Yes, that's going to be for the people who get the whisper word. There's going to be it sounds like it could, no, it's definitely going to happen. We're want to stick around. You get to watch the Oscars in the big theater, and that's going to be a fun after party, which is so cool. And you know, again, that's going to be a dream come true too, because I've always wanted to do this, but I didn't possible. But we're setting it up to do that. As I wasn't sure we were going to be able to like beam it into, you know, Florida, let people bid, but we have it set up. They can actually raise a paddle in Boca Raton and have it be brought to our auctioneer on stage. So, and just to say about this access thing, I love that you brought that up. The number one difficulty sometimes in the winter is we have a lot of senior community that are here year round, and it's sometimes difficult for physical challenge to get up the stairs. So this is really a good cause, and the tickets are $100, which are, you know, which I think are reasonable. So it's a really, and that money all goes to whatever we whatever, for everything that we're talking about. It goes towards helping NFAC in March 2nd. But it's like it's just a very exciting, and I wanted to say this is like what we started here with such a small people kept growing, and we have years, we have the best board of directors. I'm just, it blows my mind how many exceptional people there are out here. And I think NFAC, get this, open 7 days a week.
Wow. Really?
Really. We show 7 days a week. We have movies, first run films, art house films, foreign films. Kids and families can come. We have special rates. We have $5 films for families to come.
That's great.
$5. So it's our duty to be here and survive 7 days a week, because I feel like the culture grows, the friendships grow, the community thrives, and it's a commitment we made, and I'm hoping we can stick to it. But I don't really know many places that do that, you know, like all my friends who own businesses, they're just rooting for us because it's bringing a benefit to the businesses here. And it also brings a benefit to our quality of life, which is really, that's what,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Tony, before we jump into our NOFO Live 5, our same questions we ask everybody, let's just review. So where can people get tickets for the March 2nd event?
Online at North Fork Arts Center.
Okay. And it's March 2nd, Sunday night from 4 to 6.
So it's really Sunday afternoon from 4:30
to midnight, because we're going to be watching the Oscars there. It's going to happen. I'm not leaving.
This is the Whisper Crew. This is the Whisper Crew.
Okay, we won't tell anybody. Nobody watches this anyway. Don't worry about it.
How are we going to get Sanina out of the theater? We're not going to be able.
Somebody tell her she has to go home.
Listen, I love South Hall, but Greenport is when I want an outing. That's where I go. So this is my night out.
I love it. All right. So if you were going to take Sunita and I out to lunch or dinner, where would you choose to take us on the North Fork?
Oh, what a great question. It's a terrible. I go everywhere.
Well, where would we go today? You know?
Yeah. Where would you take us today?
Where would I go today? Well, I'd say Maroney's.
Tasting menu or meatballs?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Sushi. Okay, sushi night. Okay, got it.
We're in.
All right.
Okay. Brewery, winery, cocktail, mocktail. What might we see you enjoying and where?
You know, my heart goes to Evan at Britain. I just, every time I go down the steps and I see that smiling face and that great young guy who started this business with Matt in 1943, but really for a cocktail and for just conversation, you know, Evan and Bricks and Rye are where I would go.
Awesome.
We get that a lot on here, Sunita. We're gonna have to go.
We're gonna have to go and chat about getting an NOFO Live cocktail named after us. I mean, you know, yes. I don't know if we can do that on our first try, but we're gonna try.
If you go once, that'll be it. You'll
okay.
Be
okay. We have to make it happen, because his name does come up so often. It's almost like I should stop asking cocktail, because I know where everybody's going for cocktails. And rightfully so, and well earned, because Okay. Sunset or sunrise? What do you catch? And what's your secret spot in Greenport?
For fishing?
No, for
No, for the
sunrise or
sunrise or sunset.
okay, fishing if that's what you catch.
Oh my goodness. I think for sunset, I, I would have I'm a I'm a North guy. I'm a Northman. I'm not a Bayman. So I always say, you know, either my buddy who's my partner with Liz is Shannon Goldman, and I'd say his beach on Soundview Avenue. He has a little beach, and now he's actually going to be. It'll be his new house, which is down in Peconic, and I'll probably go watch sunsets there. But it was always like, as a kid, I was at Jack Shack, and I would be sitting in the a little porch of Jack Shack, and my job was to clean the beach when I was 10, 11, and 12 years old, and the sunsets from South Old Town Beach, when there was a Jack, about the most magical sunsets that I ever had. And then for sunrises, it's my house, which is there's a boathouse, and when we got our house, we had to do renovations. We lived in this boathouse, and the best I would literally lift my head and take my camera and just go click, 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 and I would get pictures of every sunrise. So it turns out,
Cool.
I live in Sterling Harbor, so if you want to know where that is, go to Greenport.
Yeah.
Sterling Harbor has the greatest sunrises.
Well, one of my favorite answers on every answer on Friday is when people say my backyard,
Yeah.
because it's really true that you could stand anywhere on the North Fork and catch either one or the other or both, depending on how the light travels.
Totally, like nobody is shot. You know, nobody's gonna miss a sunrise or a sunset if they want. Just turn your head this way or this way.
Exactly. All right. So, what farm stands do you like to hit up, and for what?
Oh, I love them all. I think, like Latham's, because I used to live in Orient. Lisa and I used to live in Orient, and that was always a really great place. And Seps. I think Seps is great. Um, those are my two. And then their country, Southold. For weirdly enough, some baked goods.
Yeah, well, it's that weird because you can
Yeah,
smell
no,
it from
it's
the road.
Yeah.
Don't grow those in the field, but somehow I go to a farm stand for some blueberry coffee cake.
Yeah, I know. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
That's how I feel about Wickham's. I get the donuts and I go, I did go to a farm stand.
Yeah,
Off from the Wickham.
I know.
Breeze Hills makes a good apple cider donut too.
Yes, they do.
North Road. It's on the North Road, and I think it's technically Southold. Yeah. So anyway,
It is.
Yeah, and they actually have, Breeze Hill has some really good juices that they make, which are really good.
And they do grow apples, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And
well, Tony, it's quite obvious the value that you and your team are bringing to the North Fork, but tell us why you chose to live your life out here and make a stamp here.
Because my father and mother did a getaway, and they didn't know, and they got lost. They were driving and driving. It was before I was born, and so I can hear Shannon Goldman now saying, "You're old." But anyway, they drove and drove. They got lost, and they ended up staying at the old Sound. And Evan was the proprietor, and they woke up. Dad said, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm in Crete."
Yeah.
And so that was it. Every summer we would be brought out here. I mean, I was literally, there's a photo of me at 6 months old at Rocky Point Road Beach, coming out of the water as a 6 month. Yeah. And so for me, my father, who found a little bit of Crete out here, and it never stopped being that. And my mom's still here at Peconic Landing, and so it's a very special. It was a special. My kids, who I Army brats, we lived literally in 5 states, and what was constant in their lives was the North Fork. So that one conflict, it kind of kept me in good stead with them because they weren't too happy about being moved all the time. But that's the film. That's like the Army, and it can be that way. But also, if you have special needs kids, you're moving schools, which happens all the time. But what didn't was the North Fork. So they lived out here. My stepchildren, Lisa's kids, are just so much. They were in Jersey, but their hearts and homes are here too. So it's a thing, and we have to make life more viable for our young people. And I think, again, what you guys are doing by doing this podcast and letting people know you're here, we're here, NFAC is here and open all year round. Those things give people hope, about making a life out. And that's kind of what I'm really most interested in about what we can do at the North Fork Arts Center. It's a big deal.
Well, we are very excited to spend March 2nd with you.
Yes, we're gonna do our pre-Oscar party. There's gonna be
okay. I will find a dress. I will find a dress.
I know what I'm wearing, Sunita. I'll send you a picture of it.
Oh my God. This was such an amazing way to spend a half hour, Tony. I know as you were speaking, I was smiling a lot because you're so passionate about what you do in the creative world, but you were so starstruck and smiling about the people you are talking about and meeting. And here we are on the North Fork, starstruck by you, and so grateful that you're part of our town, and immensely grateful for what you're doing for the arts here. So thank you so much.
And I left one thing out, which is that March 8th, we're going to start offering our free classes in screenwriting, and in acting, and also in filmmaking and editing. So
wow, great.
Which I just really want to say that was a box I always wanted to check, along with fine arts and classical music. It's like so much. It's so much. Anyway, thank you so much for having me. And I really
thank you.
And I hope we see everybody March 2nd at 4 o'clock at the theater. That'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Bye.
Bye, everyone.